Deborah was a judge of Israel. And then, according to the account of the book of Judges, she sits under a tree. And the name of that tree is called Deborah. And then that's where the men and the women of that particular kingdom come to look for Deborah. Mind you, Deborah was a judge in Israel. And according to the account of the Bible in the book of Judges chapter 4, the children of Israelites sinned against God. And what God did, God actually gave them an oppressor who was called Jabin, the king of the Canaanites. And then, mind you, the king Jabin, who was the king of the Canaanites, actually have 900 armies with iron chariots. That was what he had. And do you know that these people actually oppressed the children of Israel for 20 good years? And the children of Israel needed a redemption. And then where Deborah was sitting, she called for Barak. And she told Barak that Barak should come. She said that Barak needs to go to the Zebulun and the Naphtali to get over 10,000 soldiers. And that he should hold on. That the victory that God is going to make sure that he is going to render the people, the chariots, the armies of those people, he will render them totally useless. They will become nothing. But first of all, what Deborah said to Barak is that the victory will not be given to your own hand, Barak. Rather, it will be given to a woman. I don't know if you understand. It literally means that the person that will be able to kill the commander of the armies of the king of the Canaanites is no other person but a woman, not even Barak. And so what Barak said to Deborah was that, Deborah, if you're not going to go with me to this war, I'm not going to go with you. But what did Deborah say? Deborah said, no problem, I'm going to go with you. And then there was a river where Deborah said that the chariots and the armies of the king of Canaanites should meet them up. Mind you, the commander of that army was called Sisera, and so they had to actually defeat the commander of that army. And so when they got to that place, Barak and his soldiers, the men of Israel, they went forward and they met those particular people. That's the armies of the Canaanites. When they got there, do you know that Barak actually fought Sisera? The Lord made sure that Sisera had panic. Do you know that all of them fled? They ran away. But even while running, the children of Israel made sure that they killed all their armies, and then Sisera escaped. And so, mind you, Sisera went to a particular spot where a woman had a tent, and why he felt so free to go into the tent of that woman was because the woman's husband was in good terms with his own king, which is the king of the Canaanites, whose name is Jabin. And so that was why Sisera was comfortable entering into the woman's tent. Guess what happened next? Do you know that Sisera felt so comfortable with his state? He told the woman that, woman, please, you will have to stand at the door. Whoever comes to look for me, tell them that I am not available. That was what he told the woman. And then the woman said, okay. The woman covered him up, and he said he was thirsty. The woman actually gave him water to drink, and he slept off. Do you know what the woman did? The woman looked for a hammer, pierced it in his chest, pierced it up to the extent that he died. Remember the prophecy that Deborah gave to Barak, that the victory of this war will not be given to Barak. It will be done, the execution of it will be done by a woman. It's just, for example, when people has been in captivity for a very long time, and they needed someone to execute the person that is in charge of that captivity. And so the mastermind of all these things is God, and God had to make sure that it wasn't Barak that had to make that execution happen, to kill that person. He had to actually use someone else. And so when Barak started chasing after Sisera, he got to that tent and he asked the woman, where is Sisera? And then the woman said, this is where Sisera is. And at the end of it, guess what happened? After they were able to kill Sisera, the captain of the Canaanites, that was how they defeated the king of the Canaanites, whose name was called Jabin. And that was how they gained victory and they overpowered the king. According to the account of the book of Judges, do you know that These people overpowered the king of the Canaanites until he was subdued, and finally he was dead. So guys, this is the account of Judges chapter 4. What I learned from this is that in everything you do, it is expedient and important you obey God to the last. Most times there are just little instructions that might be given to you in order for your victory to be sure. And so most times executing of your enemies might not come from your hand. So most times, execution of your enemy might not just come from your own hand. God might actually use someone else entirely to execute whosoever that is oppressing you. So this is the account of Judges chapter 4, a story between the king of Canaanites, whose name was called Jabin, and the captain of the army of the Canaanites, whose name was called Sisera, and Barak, who led the children of Israel to war, and then Deborah, who was the judge of Israel at that time.